We're going to jump right into a story. And even though I'm not a huge fan of Candace Owens these days, she does have some very interesting interviews. And there's one that's out now that is going to get a lot of eyeballs because it's with Harvey Weinstein from prison. And he is proclaiming his sort of half innocence, I guess. Like he's denying that he ever assaulted anyone or violently sexually abused anyone. Here's a little teaser where you can hear what he says.
I did not commit these crimes. I swear that before God and the people watching now and on my family. The people who support me are scared to talk. They are frightened to death that they're going to be canceled.
What I always found to be problematic about the Me Too movement from the beginning, we're conflating he made a pass at me and I didn't like it with rape.
It's a complete fabrication about my relationship with Gwyneth. I didn't put my hand on her. I didn't touch her. I definitely made a pass. Ashley Judd's claims are ridiculous. I mean, I settled with Rose McGowan. I gave her $100,000. Don't tell my wife. Don't get me in trouble. It's all conflated, and it's all led to the idea that I am going to be the one they persecute. They broke me. They broke me in half.
There's just so much when you read the transcripts that defy common sense for me.
I've asked to have lie detector tests brought into the prison. So I know they're not admissible, but I want the world to know.
To be honest with you, I think a lot of people are going to hear this conversation.
Candace, you know, one thing I can tell you is this is going to explode.
He's like, too bad I can't touch her. Candace, you want to come back to my room, myself?
Want to watch me shower?
Hey, Candace.
He is vile.
So disgusting.
Oh my God. So he's basically admitting to a lot of stuff, but just not the stuff that ended him in, put him in jail.
He's like, basically, I'm a skeevy, disgusting pig. I just didn't
rape anybody.
Right. That's what he
said. And
saying.
now, because like when he said Ashley Judd's claims are ridiculous, now I don't even remember what all of her claims
I don't either.
were. I know that one of them was, watch me shower, but I can't remember. I don't remember anything else from her story. Right. Probably because she just uses so many words to say anything.
I could totally see him saying, hey, watch me shower. I believe every bit of that. I do. But I don't know. I don't know whether or not I have no idea. I wasn't there. I don't know.
Would a lie detector test do anything for you? Like, would that, if he passed it, would you be like, would that carry weight?
I would be like, that's interesting. You
know what I mean? That's it.
It would be interesting. But I mean, she's not wrong about it. The Me Too movement being kind of crazy during that time.
Definitely not wrong.
It was like a witch hunt. Let's get real. There were a lot of men that were like, oh God, what's going to happen? It was a little bit nuts. You know what's not nuts is Blackout Coffee.
Which I do not have. I have hotel coffee.
There. You should have brought your own. I bet you they have the little pods there.
They have bags. They have those little bag things. You can here.
Gross. That's gross. You guys, I have Blackout. Blackout is the absolute best. You should start your morning with Blackout. They have flavors. I have the chocolate in here, the dark chocolate. It's so freaking good. I'm obsessed with it. You guys should visit blackoutcoffee.com/chicks. Use code chicks at checkout. Get 20% off so you too can enjoy Blackout Coffee. Get your morning started right. Also, check us out on all of our socials. www. It's really hard to say. So chicksontheright.com/links. Do that. And then also subscribe to this podcast. Please do that. If you haven't done that already, I implore you to do that. What's happening? What's shaking?
There is a lot of stuff going on. So the reason for my name today, for example, is LaMonica McIver has now had charges pressed against her. It's the weirdest way to say that ever. And I apologize.
Really weird. It's like very Harvey Weinstein-ish is what it is. We come full circle.
I'm just going to just pretend I didn't say that because we're going to get to that story later. But first, we're going to get to some Trump stuff because yesterday he had his phone call, his much anticipated phone call with President Putin. And he tweeted immediately after the call. So if you would share this with everybody.
Oh my God. Just completed my 2-hour call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. We know who he is, dude. I believe it went very well. Russia and Ukraine will immediately start negotiations toward a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war. The conditions for that will be negotiated between the two parties, as it can only be because they know details of a negotiation that nobody else would be aware of. The tone and spirit of the conversation were excellent. If it wasn't, I would say so now rather than later. Russia wants to do large-scale trade with the United States when this catastrophic bloodbath is over, and I agree. There is a tremendous opportunity for Russia to create massive amounts of jobs and wealth. Its potential is unlimited. Likewise, Ukraine can be a great beneficiary on trade in the process of rebuilding its country. Negotiations between Russia and Ukraine will begin immediately. I have so informed President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, Ursula von der Leyen, is that how you pronounce it? President of the European Commission, President Emmanuel Macron of France, Prime Minister Giorgio Meloni of Italy, Chancellor Friedrich Merz of Germany, and President Alexander Stubb of Finland during a call with me. Immediately after the call with President Putin, the Vatican, as represented by the Pope, has stated that it would be very interested in hosting the negotiations. Let the process begin. Only he can do this, you know? It's like he's the only guy that's been able to do this. And so props to him.
The whole Vatican thing is very, very interesting because it's kind of like it puts the players on their best behavior out of just respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's like God is watching now.
Yeah. Like now you're at the Vatican. You're gonna have to get along. Okay?
Everybody be nice and play nice. That's right.
But that's a good point that you make about how Trump is really the only one that can do this. Marco Rubio at a dinner yesterday said similar things.
I don't know how many of you got to see the president's speech in Saudi Arabia. I think it will go down as one of the most profound foreign policy speeches in American history. And where it outlined a vision for the future and a vision of prosperity. And I tell people, we have a president of peace. And it's a great honor to work for a president who literally spends half his day, maybe more, trying to stop wars, end wars, prevent wars. And it's an extraordinary thing to be a part of, and thank you for your leadership on that front. He's a key part of the speech he gave, and I just summarize it this way: our president is a builder, not a bomber.
I love that. That's
I love
a great
that
line.
too. Yeah, I love that too. And how could you be against that? Like, what's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Weird. As I was watching that clip the whole time, I was thinking, we actually hung out with Marco Rubio, and now he's like in that room with all those people in gold, you know?
I mean, did we hang out with him or did we just get our photo with him?
We got our foot, but we were like at the same party with him.
That's true. We were.
We're just like hanging out at the same party with him at like the Lucas estate. And it was just so weird to think of like now he's in that position. It's just really weird. And then look at us. We're you know what I mean? It's just so weird. That's what I was thinking about. I shouldn't just express everything out loud. I probably should keep some things to myself. Sorry, everybody. It's my ADD. Sorry.
I mean, we were in the same house.
It's just weird, you know? He's so important now.
Oh my God, so important. So many jobs.
I know.
Like he literally has all the jobs.
He has all the jobs.
Oh, and that was quite a house. People
want to see the picture. We need to get the picture and dig it out and show people.
Yeah.
We should do that Thursday. It was good.
That is a picture. Indeed.
It is a picture. Yeah.
And it was also with Richard Murdoch, he was
Disgraced.
famous here in Indiana for all kinds of reasons. But yeah, that was something. That was quite a house. And that was a house that I can't even imagine like how much it would cost to outfit a palace like that.
There were like 3 kitchens in that house, you guys.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh my God.
Like
I remember.
I've told my daughter about that. I'm like, this guy had like 3 kitchens. She goes, why? You don't even need one, Mom. Like, I know.
It's true.
Crazy.
It's true. And it must have cost a fortune to do everything in that house. But you can also have your house looking like $1 million, you guys, with blinds.com. This is a new sponsor that we're super, super excited to be able to talk about. So, and I'm actually super frustrated by it because I used a competitor not realizing how easy it was to do everything online. Like I was totally freaked out by the online process and didn't think I was capable. And so, got blinds in my house, and now I'm learning all about blinds.com. And one of my best friends, Nicole, she just used blinds.com at her house on Fripp Island. And let me just tell you what she said, because I was like, oh, I would never be able to measure right. I would never be able to do it right. I would never be able to do any of it. She said, absolutely love these blinds. The material feels premium and durable, and the overall quality exceeded my expectations. Installation was a breeze, even easier than I anticipated. They look fantastic, have completely elevated our space. Highly recommend. And this is the thing, like she is like me when it comes to knowing how to do domestic stuff. And the fact that she did it and thought it was easy, that says a lot about blinds.com. So you can dress up your windows with just your standard blinds, but of course they've got all the cool things like bamboo shades, shutters. They've got options for your patio. They have 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you're not happy, maybe you did something wrong, they're going to hook you up. They have 29 years of experience and 25 million windows covered, you guys. And of course, because they're our sponsor of ours, you can get a discount. You can just go to blinds.com, and if you're spending $500 or more, you can get $50 off with code CHICKS at blinds.com. This is not going to last forever, so get in and get it done while you can. Blinds.com, code CHICKS.
Kendall, Ted Nugent is playing in Salado this Saturday. I didn't know. He should send me a ticket.
Okay, so speaking of Trump, at that same dinner, he was hilarious. He was talking about how he got the Olympics, he got the World Cup, and this all happened, he realized, during his first term, and then all of these things were going to happen, and he wouldn't get any credit for it. He loves getting credit. Trump loves getting credit. And so the joke he made about it was just perfect. Take a listen to this.
Got the Olympics, and then we got through Johnny, who's the boss. He's a friend of mine. We got the World Cup. I got them both. And I said, man, I won't be president. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president. And they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it.
Oh, my God.
A little bit.
We can play this.
Is. And then they rigged the election. And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass.
I love it.
And that's what I did. And all of a sudden, I then realized, I said, you know what? I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th. Look at the way this works out. So if they would have left us alone and wouldn't have cheated on the election and wouldn't have rigged it, I would have been retired right now. I would have been happily doing something else. And instead, they have me for 4 more years. Can you believe it? So it has.
I love it so much. Yeah, take that.
Isn't that perfect?
Take that, liberals. It is perfect.
Oh my God. I just cracked up when he was like, I'm going to shove that up their ass.
Right. Just take it. Bend over.
Oh my gosh. So listen, there was a Supreme Court ruling yesterday of some consequence, and Ketanji Brown Jackson is absolutely useless and terrible at her job.
She's useless, completely useless.
And she was the only one. This was an 8-1 decision, and she was the only person who dissented, but the Supreme Court reversed a lower court's injunction and now will allow the revocation of legal status for more than 500,000 migrants who were mass paroled into the country under Biden. So these are folks from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. She was like, I don't wanna, but she was outnumbered.
Because she probably has no idea what it's all about. You know what I mean? She's just like, Trump sucks, so I'm going to go. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised that she voted this way,
Yeah. But she's out there. And she's and like, whenever you hear some of the live hearings of the Supreme Court, and she's the one that's doing the asking of the questions, it's like she just shows how this is over her head. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
People are saying DEI hire, and I'm not going to say anything to that. I'm not.
Karoline Leavitt did a presser yesterday morning, and she was kind of like recapping the recent trip that she and President Trump and the whole cohort made to the Middle East and how successful it was. And there's a whole different kind of feel about America, she says, that was absolutely palpable, and she describes it right here.
I will summarize the president's trip with an anecdote that I heard directly from a member of one of the foreign delegations. I asked him how hopeful their country was when they learned President Trump won the election. And he told me when President Trump won the election, it was like the lights turned on in a dark room. For the past 4 years to the rest of the world, America was dark. We were unresponsive. We did not pick up the phone. We did not return calls. All of that has changed under the leadership of this president. And I think the world saw that last week with this historic and wildly successful trip. And the work continues.
That's just unbelievable, right?
Can you imagine like our country not returning calls to other world leaders?
Well,
what the hell?
Yeah. And then they act like, oh, we have foreign policy under control. You know, everybody loves us. That's what they try to tell us, you know, because they lie. We know now that they lie about everything, and they lied about that too. And by the way, she looks fantastic in yellow.
I know, that's a good color. She's pastel. She's an Easter color girl.
She is, right? I think they call that a spring. I think she's a spring, but she looks amazing in that. But yeah. But he failed on everything. He wasn't even the president. We knew that. But other people who are dumbasses are finding out about that now. And it's like, welcome to the party, pal.
Right. I mean, the fact that we're just now getting, what's the word when you knew something all along and then you finally have other people acknowledging that thing that you knew all along was the right thing? What's that word?
Redemption?
Yeah. Like we've been redeemed, you know?
Right.
Every one of us has been redeemed. We knew what we saw. And we knew what was going on. And finally, everybody else is catching up.
Vindication. Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's like validation. Perhaps, but I don't even know if we are being validated and vindicated and all of those things, because a lot of those people are, you know, they're sort of admitting it, but then they're placing blame on the people that don't deserve the blame. You know what I mean? It's like they should be taking that finger and pointing it right back at themselves.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You got to always leave it to Peter Doocy to ask the hard-hitting questions in those pressers that Karoline holds, and he did not disappoint.
What does President Trump mean when he says that Taylor Swift is no longer hot?
Look, he is speaking about Taylor Swift's political views and how perhaps it has impacted the support of the American public for her work, and I will leave it at that.
I think that's what he meant too. I think he meant it's not the way she looks, because some people were they were saying that it was because of he was, you know, talking about the way she looks, and I don't think that's what he was talking about at all. He's not Joe Biden. He's not trying to sniff her. Now, I think he was talking about her being hot, like relevant, politically relevant, like culturally, and she is not so much in the spotlight because she's taking a break or whatever. But yeah, like my daughter likes her music but doesn't give a crap what she says politically,
right?
So it's, you know, she's kind of lost her edge when it comes to that with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like she and Bruce Springsteen can go on a political tour, I guess, if they want, but people just want to hear you sing.
Yeah,
can you just stop?
People don't care anymore. They just don't, because they know that you're worth $1 gajillion. And then they go home and they have to pay their mortgage. They have to pay their bills. They're hurting. You know, they had to pay for eggs a couple years ago, and you didn't. You don't even shop for yourself, Taylor Swift. So get bent, you know?
I know this is like incredible to have 2 brand new sponsors in one day, but you guys, we have another brand new sponsor to tell you about. And I know we've given you lots of choices when it comes to betting, and that's because I don't know about you guys, but I like to have variety in my sleep situation. And so, but I also like to feel like I'm sleeping in the lap of luxury. And Buffy, which is a company that you and I had not heard of, but we were really missing the boat, because Buffy sheets, we just got a set of them, and they are like a whole different feel of sheet. They are thick. somehow.
They're thick and smooth, if that makes sense.
And smooth and
Right.
like so soft.
Mhm.
And they feel like you're just in the lap of luxury, but for not lap of luxury pricing. And
Yeah.
so they're super, super reasonable. And they have won awards from like hundreds of different places, but we're talking Cosmo, Pop Sugar, Esquire, Architectural Digest, hundreds of others. They get all the awards because their bedding is so luxurious and yet so affordable. And they have a 3-year warranty. That means even if you get like a little snag or if you get a stain that won't come out, they will replace them, no questions asked, for up to 3 years. That's like unheard of. So if you're looking for some amazingly soft, amazingly, I don't know whether you're a hot sleeper or you're a cool sleeper, you're going to be comfortable in this bedding. And they've got a zillion different colors, huge variety. They're dreamy. You guys are absolutely dreamy. So we like giving you all the options. And now you have one more with Buffy. So you can get 20% off of your first order at buffy.co. It's very important. Buffy.co, and then use code CHICKS at checkout and you'll get 20% off their already low pricing. So check it out. Buffy.co. I love them. At Karoline's presser, you know how she is always having these like alternative media folks join the party now?
Uh-huh.
So ZeroHedge was there yesterday, and like this guy asks, he said the things that so many people have wanted to say in that setting for so long. You guys, he brought up some of the Clinton suicides.
Oh my God,
and
I
I'm
love
saying
this.
suicides. In
Yeah,
big
all the
quotes.
people who have died like in their wake.
He brought that up
I love it.
before his ultimate question had to do with Epstein. But this was amazing. You guys watch.
So over the weekend, President Trump posted Truth Social a video highlighting what most people call the Clinton body count, which is the strange number of suicides that seem to happen in Clinton circles. I have a headline here from the Washington Post that said, Trump peddles false conspiracy theories tying the Clintons to several deaths. So I just wanted to highlight real quick, this wasn't in Trump's video, but this is from the Arkansas Times, and it's the death of Mark Middleton, who was a former Clinton White House aide, who was found dead on a Clinton Foundation property. And I'll just quote from the Arkansas Times. Middleton apparently shot himself in the chest with a shotgun and also hung himself from a tree with an extension cord.
That's weird.
I have no idea how somebody commits suicide that way, but if the Washington Post is here, maybe you can enlighten us as to how that was actually a suicide. So anyways, that's just a lead into my question about the most famous Clinton-related suicide, which is that of Jeffrey Epstein. There's still a lot of questions around that case. You've released phase 1 of the Epstein files. What was missing from that is any connection to his ties to intelligence agencies, and that's really the whole story, that not just trafficking young girls, but doing it on behalf of intelligence agencies, and even potentially as part of a blackmail ring with potential ties to the Israeli government. So for phase 2, when can we expect it? Will it have information pertaining to those aspects of the Epstein case?
I know the Attorney General has committed to releasing those files. I would defer you to the Department of Justice on her timeline, but when she has made a promise in the past, she has kept it, and I'm certain that she will in this case.
There seems to be a lot of cover being provided to Pam Bondi.
A lot of cover. And there's a lot of promises that were made to us that are not being kept.
Yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. That's
people
fair.
are losing patience. And
that's fair that you say, yeah, that's fair. But I want to see some heads roll.
I know.
I want to see it, Mock. I need to start seeing some promises being kept.
People are getting frustrated, not just with her, but with Kash Patel, with Dan Bongino. There's a lot. I mean, there's frustration because I don't know. We've heard the stories for so long. There's been so much buildup, and now for everybody to be like, no, everything's on the up and up.
Right. Because there's so much, because when you saw them before they got into these offices, they were so tough. They were pit bulls.
Yeah.
These people were like, we're going to get them. You know what I mean? Whereas these are, rah. And now they're there. And it's like, oh, this hot tub feels really good.
Right.
It's so warm. That's what I'm seeing. And I don't like it because we've seen it before.
I know.
I'm just saying
we've
seen it. I know we've seen it before with other people. So I guess I'm a little I'm a little jaded. I'm trying to give grace. I'm doing the best I can, but we have seen it with other people. And so,
and if by the end of summer, there's still nothing, I think everybody has reason to be like, you guys blew it. I mean, this is just unacceptable.
Coaster's telling me to just chillax. You don't tell a woman to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't tell a woman to calm down. You don't tell a woman to calm down. You should talk to my husband about that. You don't tell him to calm down. You don't do that.
So the House and Senate, everybody's still working to try to get this big, beautiful bill underway and passed and to the president's desk. And the people that are holding out, there's Senate Republicans that are being problematic. There's folks, in the House that are being problematic about getting this through. And Scott Jennings had something to say about that.
But at the end of the day, what the speaker has to tell this conference, and what I think the most resonant message is for Republicans, is this is the president's agenda. This reconciliation package, this is the president's agenda that he ran on and the American people elected him to enact. So ultimately, when they get this down to the floor on Thursday, that's the choice. Are you going to vote to support the president and enact the president's agenda or not? And because of that, I'm quite confident they'll get it over the line. The real issue here is getting it out of the House, moving the ball down the field, getting the president towards what he wants, which is one big, beautiful bill that enacts the agenda on which he ran. My political thought is the Congress needs to get this done by August, before the August recess, if at all possible, because I think if these Republicans go home before August without having delivered for the president, they're going to face some hard questions from their constituents who voted for Donald Trump about why you're not helping him enough to get his agenda enacted.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Recess. They're always on recess.
Right? I know.
Give me a
That's
break.
So absurd.
You had to go on recess in August. What, because you didn't have enough days off?
You're going to go play some kickball?
Yeah. Swear.
Anyway, we'll see what happens with that, but that's going to be later this week. And there was some big news yesterday. The reason for my name today is because LaMonica McIver, as we mentioned earlier, has had charges filed against her by Alina Habba, who's the acting attorney in
Attorney
General, not Attorney General, but whatever,
District Attorney.
She's whatever the main attorney person is in New Jersey.
Isn't she the DA? She's the DA, right?
Is it the DA? Probably.
Yeah, I think she's the DA and DA and NJ, isn't she?
Right.
Am I wrong about that?
She filed the charges. She's the one, and she apparently tried to work something out with LaMonica, and LaMonica would not. Because the charges were dismissed against that mayor.
She's the AG, people are saying. Did I have
U.S.
that
attorney. Thank you, Peggy. Yes, yeah, U.S. attorney in New Jersey. Yes.
She's an attorney. What, like it's hard?
Right. Right. So the news broke about this during Simone Sanders' show. And oh my God, the rage that she and the rest of her stupid MSNBC panel had about it was just priceless. Check this out.
Dear, we're getting some breaking news, and we want to ask you about it. But apparently, Alina Habba, who is, what's her job now? She's the acting. She's had a couple. New Jersey, yeah. She is the interim U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey.
She's acting all right.
She's acting. Well, she has apparently now dismissed charges against Mayor Ras Baraka of Newark, so no longer being charged. He went to court last Thursday, but it is being reported that she has apparently filed charges against New Jersey Congresswoman LaMonica McIver. And I'm wondering your reaction to this news as we're trying to find more information. I don't believe the indictment has been unsealed yet, but our team, NBC News, is efforting to find out. But just your reaction to this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm just learning the news as we all are now. It is chilling. The reason why they're doing this is to shut me and my Democratic colleagues up. They're doing it to make us afraid. It's not going to work. If anything, it will only strengthen our resolve. But make no mistake about it, this is not normal. It is not the sort of thing that happens in a healthy democracy. It is truly chilling. And I would urge all of my colleagues, both Democrats and Republicans, even those Republicans who say one thing in private about Trump, but then never want to say it in public, this should be a time when every member of Congress speaks out.
So just to offer a little...
Okay. I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry, that guy is 11 years old.
What?
Show his face again. He is 11 years old. That guy,
the one that was just talking?
Yes. That is not a man. Look at him. He is 11 years old. There's no way that's a man. There's no way. You guys, come on.
And he's not even the youngest congressman.
Oh my God. I couldn't stop laughing. He's so young. How old is that guy?
I don't know. He just has a baby face, I think.
I'm sorry. I know he's a baby face, but it kind of freaked me out. It was like watching one of those baby cartoons. You know what I mean? Like an AI baby thing. He really does have a baby face.
Well, he's mad, and he thinks everybody should be speaking up about how this has just crossed a line, and it's chilling, you guys. It's chilling.
I'm sorry. Deanna said he has to shave every 2 years. Deanna, yeah.
LaMonica is mad. If you could read her statement.
Oh, I cannot wait to read this tiny print. Okay, here we go. Congressman LaMonica McIver released the following statement responding to charges brought against her. Here we go. Earlier this month, I joined my colleagues to inspect the treatment of ICE detainees at Delaney Hall in my district. We were fulfilling our lawful oversight responsibilities as members of Congress have done many times before, and our visit should have been peaceful and short. Okay.
Yeah, it should have been.
Yeah. Instead, ICE agents created an unnecessary and unsafe confrontation when they chose to arrest Mayor Baraka. The charges against me are purely political. Lady, you were like a linebacker. They mischaracterize and distort my actions and are meant to criminalize and deter legislative oversight. This administration will never stop me from working for the people in our district and standing up for what is right. I am thankful for the outpouring of support I've received, and I look forward to the truth being laid out clearly in court. Okay, we can just show the video. Right. Show the video of you being like Refrigerator Perry. All right, you're going to play for the Bears next week. It's ridiculous. We all saw it. Fine,
exactly.
Okay?
And she's trying. Well, how did she put it? She said ICE created an unnecessary and unsafe confrontation.
Stop it, lady.
No, that's not how that worked. We have the video.
Right.
Now, Eric Swalwell is saying that this is a red line. He said a red line has been crossed.
Okay.
Trump is prosecuting his political enemies in Congress. This is just the beginning. We must take whatever we've done before to show dissent and go one rung higher. Save your bullshit documents on this, Alina. You'll need them when you testify.
And then he farted. Just to like... Just to put an exclamation point on everything he does, the exclamation point is just a big fart. That's what he does. I can't stand him. He's so gross.
Remember how they were all like, no one is above the law? Well, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
No one is above the law, except for illegals, apparently. Right. Illegals are above the law. Okay.
Or like punching, shoving congresswomen.
Right.
Right. Oh my God. And the fact that there is clear video that everyone has seen. I mean, I don't even know how she takes herself seriously writing a statement like that. And Scott Jennings was on fire about this topic last night on the Abby Phillips show. Check this out.
Those videos, they'll see the whole thing, and it'll be clear to me, and it'll be clear to her in court.
I mean, the videos are pretty clear, are they not? I mean, she's shoving elbows, some punches. I mean, this is violent activity against law enforcement, is it not?
It's a lot of pushing and shoving. I don't know if
really
would a regular person, if they came and did that to a federal officer, get away with it?
A regular person,
like a regular, just a non-politician.
They might get pardoned.
If they showed up at a federal facility,
they might get pardoned by the
president. But were they charged? Were they charged? Were they convicted in court? Would a regular person get away with it?
You brought up
occupancy, and if these members of Congress,
what does that have to do with a clear video of someone assaulting a police officer?
Scott? Was that
yeah,
wasn't
pretty clear.
There's nothing clear about it.
It's not a cheap fake, I can assure you of that.
If you took off your Chicago glasses
it's not a cheap fake. The problem is they have a video of it. And it doesn't look great. And if the argument is, we're here to conduct legitimate oversight, is that what oversight looks like? Pushing and shoving and elbowing and causing a riot at a federal facility? Is that what oversight looks like?
People on J6 who were just like standing around the Capitol were arrested.
Right.
And she's pushing and shoving like Refrigerator Perry. And like, it's fine. It's totally fine. That's okay. Like, I'm so sick of the double standard in this country. I think a lot of people are sick of it. So stop it.
I love the expressions on his face when
It's the best. Like he started out with it. Like
I know, he's like,
starts out with. He's looking at the camera. It's the greatest.
Oh my
Absolute
God.
greatest.
It's just absolutely the best. And so too are the classes that you can take for free at Hillsdale College. You guys, you can take actual Hillsdale College
They're great.
courses, and they have a whole series right now. This is so cool. So they've got a 7-part lecture series all about capitalism and how it's the most moral, just, freedom-based system of government, essentially, that you can possibly have. It lifts more people out of poverty than any other system ever has before it. And yet right now it's getting the worst rap ever. I mean, you hear all kinds of idiots on college campuses, no less, talking about how capitalism is evil. I mean, it's insane. This should be required viewing for literally everybody in college, no matter what school they go to. And the fact that it's free, that they offer so many of these online lecture series from some of the greatest professors out there, I love that. I love that they're accessible. I love that they're free. And this is a fantastic 7-part series. So just a couple of the highlights of what you'll learn if you take it. You'll learn about the role of profit and loss. You'll learn how human nature plays a role in whatever economic system we have, why capitalism depends on property rights, private property rights, the rule of law, and freedom above all, and why it's ultimately a system that encourages morality rather than undermines it. Super interesting class. You can just visit hillsdale.edu/chicks to sign up. Again, it's hillsdale.edu/chicks.
I took one on the Constitution years ago. I need to take more because they're so great.
I know
Really
they really are. And it should be like required viewing. All right, we got to get into this whole Biden stuff again. I know it's a story it's carryover from yesterday, but it's going to carry over because we need to keep carrying it over. The other side right now is trying to be like, no, he's suffering cancer. Like, you can't talk badly about him. We're going to look forward. No, we're not. We're going to rehash this until the end of time because it cannot be forgotten. And so yesterday, Joe Biden himself, although I use that term loosely, posted a picture on his Twitter account saying, "Cancer touches us all. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." Which, listen, everybody wishes him well.
Right.
Get over it.
I find it very interesting, the coverage. I'm just going to point that out because a lot of people have been yelling at us saying, you need to have sympathy. What's wrong with you? You don't have enough sympathy, blah, blah, blah. This is getting double, triple, quadruple the coverage that Trump's assassination attempts got. I mean, granted, I know it's different, right? But the deviation from other things, like, you're not supposed to talk about, the bad things that Biden did. We can't talk about that anymore because he has cancer.
Right.
They're two separate things. And then if you want to focus on some of the bad things he did, they say you don't have sympathy. You don't get to tell me that I don't have sympathy because I can multitask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can say this is a terrible thing. Cancer sucks. It's terrible that he has it. But also, he's done some crappy things. So
right.
Let's talk about those too. You know what I mean? And can you imagine if this were Trump? Can you
Oh my
imagine?
God. Well, we don't have to imagine it because it happened. Like literally the day after his assassination attempt, they were like, well, he often has really vulgar language. Like they were blaming him the very next day.
It's not even the blame. Some of them were so upset that he didn't die.
Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, we had the people on the left who they still to this day, they wish he was gone. So don't lecture me on sympathy. Don't lecture me on empathy. You can suck it.
Well, and it's super interesting now, some of these flashback videos. There was one shortly after Biden got out of the race that his brother had appeared or like called into one of the talk shows to talk about the rationale behind his decision to finally get out. And it had to do with his health. And so this is just so interesting to watch it in hindsight now, what they were saying that like essentially all the people in the media heard and then chose to ignore going forward. It was absolutely incredible. Here's his brother.
CBS News had a brief conversation with Frank Biden, one of President Biden's two younger brothers, and here's what he told us. He said, "I'm incredibly proud of my brother. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. He is a genuine hero. country over self. It sounds corny in our cynical political environment, but he nor I are cynical. The goal remains the same: defeat Trump and continue the work that Joe has done. My hope is that our party rallies around this heroic act. We asked him whether he feels that his brother's overall health and vitality played a major role in this decision, and he says, in my humble opinion, absolutely. So a member of the president's family now confirming that the president's health was indeed a major factor in this decision.
Well, that is notable because to date, the family, the White House, the establishment has rejected the premise that there was anything that was challenging the president's mental acuity or his health, and that all these accusations were baseless, that it was just age and a few, difficult nights like he had on the debate stage. So that is a change in message.
Yeah, it's all about messaging. Everything about his presidency was fake, including his medical records. That's what I believe. It's all fake, all fake. And like that picture of him and Jill is a horrible, disgusting human being.
Mm-hmm.
His whole family is, man. They're all just gross. They're power hungry. They made him do things because they wanted to keep power. They wanted to keep money. It's disgusting. And now they're trying to control the narrative. And it's like, we know that you were covering up so much stuff. His dementia, his cancer. I mean, it's gross. What else were you covering up? What else?
Well,
did
and
you
it's
lie
interesting
about?
that choice of words that Frank used. Like, we want to enjoy whatever time we have left.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that now that you hear it, knowing what we know now, it's very suspicious to me that they're trying to say that they only just found out about this last Friday. They've known. They've totally
known. They lie about everything. Of course they knew.
Yeah.
Stage 4. Are you kidding? Of course they knew. And people that think that they didn't know, I'm sorry. They're the same people that were like, let me put a mask on. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me go ahead and follow these arrows on the floor because that's somehow going to keep me from getting a virus. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and even like people that are, staunch Democrats that are also doctors are having to admit, yeah, this is freaking crazy. One of those being Zeke Emanuel, who was on with Morning Joe yesterday talking about this.
It is likely, if this prostate cancer has spread to the bone, that he could have had it for up to a decade. But certainly it's likely, would it be fair to say, it's likely to have had this for at least several years?
Oh, more than several years. You don't get prostate cancer.
So again, I just want to stop you. So this is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you were saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021.
Sit with that, Joe.
I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
How do you feel about that, Joe? Because what was it, like a year ago that Joe said, this is the best version of Biden that there's ever been. Remember that?
And F you if you don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was adamant.
Yeah. And then Mika is like, oh my God, just because he's old, you shouldn't make fun of him. You shouldn't say because he's old. My mom and blah. She went on and on. I mean, they just demonized anybody who dared to say the guy had dementia and that he was losing his freaking mind. All of us were saying it for years. He was one of the worst. Scarborough
oh my God.
was.
Absolutely one of the worst. Without question, he was one of the worst. And Zeke Emanuel is not the only doctor that's talking about this. There's plenty of them to go around. There was Chris Saliza had on a urologist who was slightly more, I guess, willing to maybe consider the possibility that it was a more recent diagnosis, but barely so. Here's a little bit of that.
So it is a little bit surprising that the president of the United States didn't have a prostate exam in February. And to answer your question, is it possible that a nodule was not on that exam in February? It's possible, but it's been
very unlikely. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say it's very unlikely.
Okay.
And it's likely that before he even developed a nodule, his PSA, the blood test for screening for prostate cancer, would have been elevated.
Huh.
Huh is right. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, we know.
It's disgusting. It's
Right.
disgusting that they did this. And it cannot be brushed aside or forgotten about simply because he may be dying now.
Right.
We're
Because
not.
I think what is the most disgusting thing about all of this is that they're using the cancer to cover for his inadequacies and for
And his lies.
and for the biggest scandal, one of the biggest scandals in American history. They're like,
Ever.
well, let's go ahead and use his cancer and try to make people, put these people, if they dare say anything mean about him, we'll be like, but he has cancer. That's what they're doing now. And that to me is so freaking disgusting. What they're doing. Because I mean, you guys see it. They're doing it. They're doing it.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
a terrible
It's
human
happening.
being. You're a terrible human being if you dare say anything. I see it. There's a couple people that came in our comments yesterday. They were coming at us and going, he has cancer. How dare you girls have no sympathy for him? Really?
He's had cancer. How
Right.
dare you not
They
be
have-
angry that we're only just finding out?
You know what? Direct your anger at his shit family for using this and all the people who surround him for using his cancer to manipulate the narrative now. They're the ones who are disgusting human beings because they used him. They've used him all along. It's so gross that they can't see what these people have done. How completely how void of morality these people are. Like they just
And it's
devoid.
falling in line in the most gross way. Like to
Right.
me, the people that are like, oh, we should back off because of this diagnosis are the
Right.
same people that, you know what I immediately think of? The image that comes to mind is all those Democrats with their stupid African scarves kneeling in the Capitol.
Right.
That's the same. You're the
Mhm.
same. You're the same
Exact-
people.
Exactly the same.
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly the same.
We cannot let this go because this was the worst kind of like hoodwinking that they could ever perpetrate on the
Mhm.
entire American populace.
Right.
Everybody should be furious about it.
Yeah, they should
Furious.
because like and I will keep saying it, one of the biggest scandals in American history. And now they're trying to cover it up with cancer.
They're trying to cover up the cover up.
Right.
You're not covering that up.
It's
It's
just
not happening.
They're the grossest. The grossest.
They are absolutely, man, I'm getting riled up.
I know, right? It's just it makes me sick. And this is when I'm like, I want a divorce from these people. I cannot live among these people. But
You
I
know what I need? I need a good steak dinner. That's what I
I
need. And I know
You
I'm
do.
gonna have one when
With
we get home.
sides. You need sides with it.
Sides. Oh
Some
my
carbs.
gosh.
That's right.
We're not going to let you forget about the sale at omahasteaks.com right now because it's right ahead of Memorial Day. This is a great time to get yourself some steaks. Or if you feel like it's maybe you're set up for Memorial Day, you also got Father's Day coming up. And there is no better thing to get a dad than steaks. It's a slam dunk gift option, you guys. Slam dunk.
It
And
is.
right now, of course, it's 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. And then when you use code CHICKS at checkout, you get an extra $35 off. And that goes for everything, whether you're talking about their steaks, which are amazing, and they have so many different kinds. They've got the sirloins, they've got the T-bones, they've got the fillets, they've got the fillets wrapped with bacon.
Oh my God, those are my favorite.
And then you pair those with like those pepper jack risotto, like ball, like
I
those
just like
balls.
the steak fries. I just pop it into the air fryer and have steak fries. It's lunch, man. So
It's
good.
so good, you guys.
Right.
Enjoy it. 50%
Right.
off right now. omahasteaks.com and then use code CHICKS to get that extra $35 off. All right. JD Vance was on a plane. I guess it was Air Force One. I think he was flying back with Donald Trump from somewhere. And he was asked about the diagnosis and his reaction to it. Here's what he said.
Speaking of Joe Biden, sir, do you have any thoughts on his diagnosis?
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, of course, we wish the best for the former president's health. And, you know, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery. Like, I will say, whether the right time to have this conversation is now or at some point in the future, we really do need to be honest about whether the former president was capable of doing the job. And that's no... You know, that you can separate the desire for him to have the right health outcome with the recognition that whether it was doctors or whether there were staffers around the former president, I don't think he was able to do a good job for the American people. And that's not politics. That's not because I disagreed with him on policy. That's because I don't think that he was in good enough health. In some ways, I blame him less than I blame the people around him. And why didn't the American people have a better sense of his health picture? Why didn't the American people have more accurate information about what he was actually dealing with? This is serious stuff. And this is the guy who carries around the nuclear football for the world's largest nuclear arsenal. This is not child's play, and we can pray for good health, but also recognize that if you're not in good enough health to do the job, you shouldn't be doing the job.
Right. We can multitask.
Right. This is not hard.
Do that. No, it's not hard. We can absolutely do that. You're not going to like get us off course. We can totally do that. I love him. I totally love him.
I do
and can you imagine having your own plane?
Yeah, that's right. It did say vice president. So that was Air Force Two that he was on.
Air Force Two, right.
There's another doctor who was on with Megyn Kelly talking about the hormone piece of this, because the press releases all about the cancer had to do with, but the great news is that it appears to be the kind of cancer that reacts to hormone therapy. And this doctor has serious questions about that.
Have a safe trip. See ya. You too.
So you're saying that jumped out at you, the fact that they're stating in their statement, they say, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. You're saying, how would they know that this soon?
Right, exactly. So if it was just a week ago, they had the prostate nodule. Within a week, they did the biopsy and they got the disease. So very quickly, within 1 week, based on the story that they're telling, they've been able to do the staging part and find out if the cancer is spread to the bone or not. But you have to give the injections and see if the patient responds. We don't know what his PSA is. If the PSA starts to go down, then that's when you know that he's hormonal sensitive. I don't know how they will be able to give all of this information from diagnosis to treatment to all of that within 1 week. The story doesn't make any sense.
No,
I mean, it's like it's like super fast medicine when you're the president, right? You get it fast tracked, I guess. It's different. It's supercharged.
This is all bull crap.
It is a bunch of bullshit. It is. And it's because that's all we get from that administration. That's all we've been fed is lies. If you believe this stuff, then you believed everything else they told you, which it was all lies.
All lies. All lies. Now, President Trump was obviously asked to weigh in about this, and he made a great point, and one that needs to be made again and again and again. This all ties back to who was in charge, who was actually making the decisions while he was president, and who was behind the auto.
The story doesn't make any sense.
He said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation. And the autopen is becoming a very big deal. You know, the autopen is becoming a big deal because it seems like that maybe was the president who ever operated the autopen. So it's a very, very sad situation, and I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened, because I'll tell you, I don't know if it had anything to do with the hospital. Walter Reed is really good.
Yeah, it was
the
either
autopen.
The autopen was either Jill or Obama, right? And I tend to think that it was maybe Obama was like having a very big influence on probably Jill doing a lot of that. Don't you think?
What's terrifying to think about is that that horrible little chick that was a Democrat donor and operative who's trying to make all the rounds on the talk shows, that Lindy girl, you know, the Lindy chick, she's
the Asian chick.
Yes. She's saying that it was actually the people that were running the country weren't even somebody as, I guess, high up as Obama. It was the freaking staffers. Like our country was literally run by a bunch of clowns,
young
people. Yeah. Like imagine a bunch of Harry Sissons copied and pasted.
Oh my God, Marianne.
That's who was literally running the country.
Oh my God.
It's her, and you have to take everything that she says with a grain of salt, but I don't doubt it because of how much we've been lied to. You know what I mean?
And how horrible the country was run into the ground over the past 4 years, and the decisions that were made, and just the crap that happened. I mean, we were talking about stuff every single day. We'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So
that's why I don't doubt it. I just don't.
Yeah. It's a plausible theory.
I know. But speaking of the autopen, James Comer is actually looking into this, and he thinks that they're getting close to some investigative breakthroughs.
And looking at who was controlling this autopen, because Joe Biden, I mean, he's demonstrating that he doesn't have all the cognitive capabilities they had. That interview was from 2023.
Yeah, that's hard evidence. Early in the President Biden's term as president, it clearly shows that he was in significant mental decline. It questions who was actually making the decisions. So what we found is not just with the pardons he issued, but many of the executive orders that the courts are now using to Trump-proof, many of the executive orders that President Trump is trying to implement to make government more efficient, many of these executive orders, as well as the pardons of Biden's entire family as a result of our investigation, these were all signed with the autopen. We think we've identified who the staffers are. Jason, you all have done great work with that over at Heritage Oversight. We're going to bring everyone that we believe was involved in any role in the use of the autopen. We're going to invite them to come in for a transcribed interview. If they want, then they will receive a subpoena and they will have a full-blown deposition. But
my expectation.
I mean, what in the world?
Right? Can you imagine being one of those staffers and thinking you know everything, and now you could be facing some serious trouble?
I hope so, though.
I do too.
I hear this and I'm just like, really? Because I've seen Comey get on a talk show and talk about, thumping people's skulls before and nothing freaking happened. So I just want to see it. I'm a lot disillusioned by people in our government right now. I just want to see some accountability from somebody.
Just even like a
just
piece.
like
just
maybe just a shred, right? Just a small bite, a
like
morsel,
a sprinkle,
perhaps,
like just a dollop of accountability.
A dollop would be great. Yeah, that'd be great. A dash, maybe just a dash.
A pinch of it would be awesome.
Good Lord, I'm sick of the talk. Can somebody do something? That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely going to be sick of this talk because it's Hakeem Jeffries, King Paws himself, who is suggesting to all of us we should not talk about this cover-up thing right now because cancer.
Again, sympathy.
That President Biden is going to meet this moment with the courage and resilience that he's consistently shown.
Is he crying?
Seems to me entirely inappropriate that at this moment in time, when President Biden is dealing with a serious and aggressive form of cancer, there are Republicans who are peddling conspiracy theories and want us to look backward at a time when they actually are taking health care away from the American people. No, as House Democrats, we're going to look forward. They literally are trying to take health care away from millions of Americans at this very moment in the dead of night. And Republicans want to fan the flames of conspiracy theories at this moment?
my God.
No, thank you.
They used him.
He's still saying conspiracy theories. There's no conspiracy.
Totally. They used
my
Biden.
God.
He was a total puppet for the Democrat Party. They used him, right? They just propped him up like Weekend at Bernie's. And now they're using his cancer as a political tool. That's what they're doing. And then he has the audacity to use that in front of all of us. He just did it. He used it and then try to talk down to us as he's like, he's some sort of a moral pillar. F you, dude. You don't get to do that. Some of us understand what you're doing. Like,
well, I can't even believe he's trying to get away with saying any of this is a conspiracy. Like when you have Jake Tapper finally writing a whole book about it, you don't get to say this is made up anymore. Dude, we all see it now, okay? Like even the lefties see it. So Hakeem trying to say, this is a ridiculous conspiracy theory, just makes him look like a worse liar.
Yeah. And then he actually gets up on a stage and tells us that we're the ones who are immoral.
Right.
Because we dare to talk about it. It's you just don't get to do that. People are so sick of this shit.
I know.
They're just so sick of being talked down to when these are the people who are completely void of morality. Like they're the ones who are just disgusting. Oh my God.
Well, Jake Tapper at least is starting to feel some real regret about how he behaved over the last, several years, I guess, if you really want to look at the whole full picture. He is showing some more humility in this recent interview that he did about the book.
Look, I mean, we had all seen him aging. We had all seen him tripping and misspeaking. We had all seen evidence of decline, but the Biden team, family and senior advisors, were telling everybody, not just media, not just the public, but also Democratic donors and members of Congress, their own cabinet, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine. You know, I think everybody in that circle, in that world, should be thinking, I'm certainly thinking as a journalist, what should I have done differently? You know, Alex and I covered this, Alex very aggressively from the White House beat, me less so, and I wish I had been more aggressive. There's a lot of regret. There's a lot of humility.
Yes, Greg, there's not enough. There's not enough humility.
I knew you were going to say that.
And now he's trying to make money off of it, which makes it even worse. You are an asshole, Jake Tapper. You are a disgusting, money-grubbing asshole. I just can't. What the best thing he could have done is to not write a book about it.
Yeah.
Is to say, I'm sorry that I did it. I asked if you wanted forgiveness, ask for forgiveness, but don't try to capitalize on it.
But then we would still be saying all this stuff and there wouldn't finally be the validation. So at least with the book, like everyone is having to talk about it, recognize it, own it, you know, like say it out loud.
He could still say all the things without trying to make money off a book.
Well, that's true. That's true.
He could still put it out there. He's a journalist, isn't he? He can write articles in the Wall Street Journal, can he? Can he put stuff out there? Can he write op-eds? He could do that for free. He could put it out there. He could put the information out there just because he feels like it needs to be out there. And then he can make amends with his horrible feelings of regret. He could do that without trying to make millions of dollars. The guy's an asshole, Miriam.
Oh, totally. Without question. Yeah. Without question. But I'm enjoying the fact that if those feelings are legit, I'm enjoying that he's having them. You know what I mean? Because he should have them.
I don't even think he has a regret as much as he does. He's trying to jump on another bandwagon because it's like a new day, a new dawn. And that stuff isn't flying so much with people anymore. And it's like a lot of these people who are, it's like that Asian chick. I can't remember her name.
Lindy Lee.
Lindy's jumping on another train. And it's like, she just is like, well, I mean, this is the train to be on now. So I'm just going to be on this train. You know, it's like, I mean, I feel like this is where people are heading. So I'm just going to go on they don't stand for anything. They'll stand for whatever, you know, the status quo where they're going. I'm just going to go in this direction. I guess this is where people are going. So I'm going to go there because they're spineless. These are the Willows of the world, not the Oaks, who stood for what was right when it was right to stand for it, you know, and he didn't do that. I have no respect for people like him.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, he's bad enough, but like the Hakeems and all these other people that are trying to say, no, we just need to put a pause on this, Axelrod, all of those people who are trying to use it, politicize it, and make it a way of covering up the cover up. It's not okay. Greg Gutfeld also talked about that right here.
Now to be saying that we should set aside any talk about the cognitive cover-up during his presidency as he battles this cancer?
When they say something like that, you have to believe that that's the reason why they're breaking the news now. So you do mute and you do pause. The timing is telling you that this cancer is being used as a tool to deflect from outrage to sympathy. But get this, normal human beings, we can have both. We can feel sad for somebody who has cancer. Like Harold said, we all know people intimately who have cancer, who are dying from cancer, and who will die of cancer. Right. So we can feel sad, but that's not going to infringe on the space in my brain that is reserved and dedicated to this cover-up.
As if...
Yes,
he's absolutely right. We can compartmentalize. We can do that if you're a rational thinking human being. The problem is that a lot of people on the left are not. They just have the feels. That's all they have. They don't compartmentalize. They're not rational. They don't think like adults.
And they project onto us this like cruelty because they want to be able to say, oh my God, look at how awful these people are for ignoring the cancer so that they can talk about the cover up instead of realizing it's a responsibility to talk about the cover up.
It's absolutely a responsibility. Yeah. It's a responsibility to the thing that you guys talked about ad nauseum for years, which is the democracy.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one said it better than Megyn.
On cue, we get this from top Democrat strategist David Axelrod.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think those conversations are going to happen, but they should be more muted and set aside for now as he's struggling through this.
No. We reject your suggestion, and that will not be happening on this program. We will be taking a full, robust, deep dive into everything that's revealed in that book. No detail will be spared, David Axelrod, because of this diagnosis. You are hashtag part of the problem. The same media that covered up the Joe Biden mental infirmity is now going to try to use this diagnosis as an excuse to cover up the discussion about the cover up.
Yeah.
It's a no.
It's a no.
How about we mute you? We're going to mute you. We're going to mute Jake Tapper. We're going to mute all of you jerks. You
God,
get
I love
muted.
that.
We're going to turn it up to 11.
I love that. All right, let's talk about some crazy Democrats for a bit because there's plenty of them to go around. Tim Walz did a commencement address and decided that what college kids who are graduating and about to go out into the world and make their own way really need to hear is how much Trump sucks. And so that's what he talked about. We've got a couple short clips.
What college? What college was it?
I don't even know.
Why? Why did he do this?
I don't know. But it was bad. And it's like he knows that it's bad. He has been told that this is not a good strategy, but he continues to do it anyway. Here he is.
This is what the crumbling of rule of law looks like in real time. And it's exactly what the founders of this nation feared. A tyrant abusing power to persecute scapegoats and enemies. Look, I get it. There's nervous folks on my side of the aisle. They don't want us to touch any of this. I keep hearing this. Oh, the polling really, it sucks talking about this. It's a distraction from more important issues. Consultants said steer away from talking about this rule of law stuff. But caring about this stuff isn't partisanship or politics. It's patriotism. Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense. Not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared.
So it was University of Minnesota or Michigan? I don't know which one.
Probably Minnesota.
Okay, University of Minnesota. So he's picking people up in vans, but that's what Trump is doing. Trump is driving around in a van, picking people up. Is that what he's doing?
He's a tyrant.
This guy is out of his freaking gourd. Why would they ask him to speak at a graduation? If I was a parent and I was watching my kid graduate from law school and I saw that, I would be so outraged.
Yeah.
If I were a student and I was sitting through that, I would be outraged. I'd be like, why did you invite this schmuck?
Right. To talk about that. This is the least commencement-y thing to talk about ever.
Right. God, what big mistake. Huge.
Bernie.
What do you got a whore? You're just a whore.
So he was on with Andrew Schulz and some other folks talking about this oligarchy tour that he did with AOC. And Andrew was asking him, are you basically paving the way for AOC? Is that what's going on here? And he doesn't want us to look at it that way, you guys. Here he is.
So that is, I think I've run my last race. But,
now, does that mean
zero fair races?
Does that mean that this oligarchy tour is you passing the baton?
No, don't look at it like that. The oligarchy tour is.
I think we're all looking at it like that.
No, it's not a passing the baton. I happen to, I think Alexandria is great, but it's not my job to determine who the new leaders are. People have each of them, as I mentioned, in the House, there are a lot of great people. In the Senate, there's some good people. And there are people who are not in office right now.
The problem.
So don't look at it like that, which I don't know, if I were AOC after just going on that tour with him, I'd be like, why aren't you just passing the baton? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not a glowing endorsement. He's like, I like her a lot, but
But in that same interview, he admitted that they're basically the threat to democracy.
we've got more. So the next clip is about Andrew saying, like, basically when Kamala was the person, nobody knew who was puppeteering her. You know what I mean? And then you went and endorsed people that you shouldn't have endorsed. And what do you have to say about that? And then that led into this discussion about Democrats and how messed up that party is and what they did to him even. I mean, Bernie should be the last person endorsing Democrats. And yet he tries to explain why he did it.
I think a lot of voters had is like, they didn't even know if it was her. We didn't even know if Biden was president. We didn't even know if these were her talking points. And we felt that over the last 4 elections, Democrats, we felt that we didn't have a say on who could be president. We talk a lot about the Republicans being autocrats and oligarchs and taking over democracy, but from the Democrat perspective, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, I felt like the Democratic Party completely removed the democratic process from its constituents. And I think they need to have some accountability of that.
No argument here.
I donated for you. I mean, I wanted you to, like, 2016. I was like, this is going to happen. This guy's going to do it. And it felt like they stole it from me. And I'll be honest, it broke my heart when you supported him.
Look, but you have, in the world that I live in, you got a choice. And I mean, a lot of people, including my wife, agree with you. But, you know, you're down to a choice. Is it going to be Hillary Clinton or is it going to be Donald Trump? Not a great choice.
But it ended up being him anyway, so why don't we burn it down?
Well, because it's easy to say burning it down means that children are not going to have, you know, food to eat, that the schools will deteriorate, people will not have health care.
I got it.
And I'm an elected official. I got to represent the people.
That's fair.
And I can't turn my back on.
But then could we not also say, if ostensibly there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008, are they not also a threat to democracy? Yes. We often hear.
Fair enough. That is, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
He is one of the biggest liars, con men, and grifters that there is.
Wow.
I can't believe he couldn't see that right in that moment. He admitted that Democrats are actually the threat to democracy. And here he is on an oligarchy tour, you know, screaming about climate change and oligarchs. He's on his private jet, no less, flying around the country on a private jet, talking about that garbage. Biggest grifter there is. The guy is a joke. He's a joke. Unbelievable. And he just admitted it. He's like, my wife agreed. His wife is like probably saying to him every day, they're the biggest joke. They're the biggest liars. Yeah, but I get money from them. We got 3 homes. I'm sorry.
And 4. The children. I mean, come on.
We have 4 homes, honey. We have 4 homes. Yeah, that's why they stay. It's because he's been bought by them. What a piece of crap.
He is. They all are. And Hillary Clinton is also a piece of crap. She's learned no lessons. She's learned nothing from the basket of deplorables. She still thinks the way to, I guess, people's hearts is to insult them. Here she is with advice for a potential female president.
You have the first female president of the United States.
Well, first of all, don't be a handmaiden to the patriarchy, which kind of eliminates every woman on the other side of the aisle, except for very few. Lisa Murkowski.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a few. Look, first we have to get there, and it is, you know, obviously so much harder than it should be. So, you know, if a woman runs who I think would be a good president, as I thought Kamala Harris would be, and as I knew I would be, I will support that woman.
God, her bitterness just oozes through her body, doesn't it? It just
and she's gonna die with it.
She's gonna totally.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, and
let her just wallow. Let her just melt into it.
Totally. She's just pissed off that her predator husband hates her and cheated on her, and she didn't have the balls or the guts to leave him, and she's still with him, and she has to live with that, and he still hates her.
And then she's telling us that we're handmaidens to the patriarchy.
Right.
You're the biggest example,
You're
Hillary.
it. You're totally it. Nice projection, lady. That's
God.
exactly what she's doing. She stays with a dude. They probably live in separate houses. And she is a slave to the patriarchy. She's it. And then she puts that and projects it onto all of us. Oh my God. Are you kidding me with this? Remember when she tried to ruin women that were his bimbo eruptions? You remember that? Talk about the patriarchy. Yeah. She's a piece of work, this woman. She is just so bitter about everything.
James Comey also just awful. So he's now making the rounds trying to paint himself as a victim who was just strolling on the beach with his wife and they just came upon some shells and then everything exploded and now he's being talked to by DOJ and here he is painting himself to be just good old ignorant, blissfully naive James Comey.
You were back in the middle of a political firestorm.
Yeah, for walking on the beach with my wife. So I don't know how we ended up here. It never occurred to me that it was any kind of controversial thing, but that's the time we live in.
So take me back to the walk on the beach.
We were walking on the beach. We went to the beach to prepare for this week, which was the launch of my book, and to think about the book and to prepare to answer questions about it.
Please buy my
book.
book.
We were walking back towards the road, and we saw in the sand someone had arranged shells with numbers. And Patrice, my wife, said, why would someone put an address in the sand? And I said, I don't know. And we stood over it, and I said, I think it's some kind of like political message. And she said, 86, when I was a server, she did a lot of work in restaurants, meant to remove an item from the menu when you ran out of ingredients. And I said, well, to me, as a kid, it always meant to leave a place, to ditch a place. I said, that's really clever. So then she said, you should take a picture of that. And I did. And I posted it on my Instagram account and thought nothing more of it until I heard through her that people were saying it was some sort of a call for assassination, which is crazy. But I took it down. I don't, even if I think it's crazy, I don't want to be associated with violence of any kind.
Oh my God, these people, the lying. It's the lying never ends. It just doesn't. And if he's not lying, then he is the dumbest. I want to say all the words on the planet. Yeah, Vinny, I want to say that word. It's like he's dumber than a stick. If he, I don't know what 86 means.
I was only the FBI director. How could I know that meant to kill somebody?
Then that just shows us how stupid our government is and everybody that works in it. Because he was hired as the head of the FBI. He doesn't know what 86 means. Come on. Oh my gosh, that interview.
I know.
Are you
it was
kidding
absolutely
me
crazy.
With that? That's insanity.
But here's a little bleach from it from Senator Kennedy about James Comey.
And Kennedy joins us now. And sir, it's good to see you on this Friday night. Let's start with James Comey, who found himself interviewed by the Secret Service today. Your thoughts on this Instagram post? What do you really think happened here?
Well, I have been around Mr. Comey a good bit in the Senate because he's been in front of a lot of Senate committees. To know Mr. Comey is to dislike Mr. Comey. There's a reason he doesn't get invited to too many parties. He's a butthead. You can only be young once, but you can always be immature. What Mr. Comey did was immature, but it was more than that. I think he was trying to seek attention. Mr. Comey has a chip on his shoulder. On his shoulder has a chip on its shoulder. He probably single-handedly did more to undermine the reputation of the FBI, which before Mr. Comey took over was one of the, if not the premier organization, law enforcement organizations in the country, in the world.
Yeah, the people who are actually capable working at the FBI have got to hate that guy.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Because he is just a permanent stain on that organization. He's just so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Senator Kennedy, though.
I do too.
To
He's
know
him
is to dislike him.
Just a national treasure. Love him.
Some very sad news in right-wing influence circles, and that is, and perhaps you guys knew this yesterday, but Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert and very, very popular podcaster, right-wing influencer now, is also dying of the same cancer, same prostate cancer that Joe Biden says that he just found out he has. So Scott finally announced it to his audience yesterday. We've got a couple clips because he's just got sort of this amazing attitude about it all, even though he says he's going to be gone by summer. Like oh my God, he's at the end of this journey. And it's so sad. But anyway, I'll just play the clips for you. The first one is actually when he's announcing it. So that's this one right here. And it kind of leads into where he acknowledges that it hits hard for people because even though he's known it forever, obviously his fan base is just finding out. And so he's acknowledging that and how hard that may be, but also talking about how, what it's like to actually be dying of a disease like this.
Some of you have already guessed, so this won't surprise you at all. But I have the same cancer that Joe Biden has. So I also have prostate cancer that has also spread to my bones. But I've had it longer than he's had it. Well, longer than he's admitted having it. So my life expectancy is maybe the summer. I expect to be checking out from this domain sometime this summer. Now I realize that for some of you, this is hitting you kind of hard because you're hearing it for the first time. Weirdly, since it's old news to me, I've just sort of processed it. So it just sort of is what it is. And I have to say that, everybody has to die, as far as I know. And it's kind of civilized that you know about how long you have so you can put your affairs together and make sure you've said your goodbyes and done all the things you need to do. So if you had to pick a way to die, this one's really painful. Like really, really painful. But it's also, you might wonder why it took me so long to tell you. And I think I owe you an answer to that. Number one, it would change my life because everybody would start treating me like the cancer guy to wrap things up. Once you go public, you're just the dying cancer guy. And I didn't want you to have to think about it. And I didn't want to have to think about it. And I can see in the comments that some of you are having a tough time with it. But remember, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. All right, stop crying, all of you. If I'm not crying, you can't cry. You can't be sadder than I am about my cancer.
So sad. He's a treasure. I know people are like, who is this? That's why I said at the beginning, you gotta listen when I introduce these clips. That is Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert, the Dilbert cartoon that's super, super famous. And he's very, very popular podcaster and right-wing influencer and very sweet.
I hate cancer.
Yeah, it's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Hate it. Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to some happy things, shall we? To finish out the day on a happy note. Although this first clip for my Pillow Toks is not happy at all. It's the latest clip of Britney. Well, it's not even the latest. She posted this yesterday or the night before last, and then deleted it because I think she realized that it's completely psychotic. But then the video that she replaced it with was just another crazy dancing, super naked video. But you guys, look at her.
She's not okay. There's somebody filming her or somebody in the background?
No, it's always a selfie. Always.
Oh God, she's
It's
not
always
okay.
a selfie.
You guys, she's not okay. Her dad should have her dad's like, I was right, everybody.
Yeah, like the Free Britney movement it turns out it was a bad thing.
Bad idea.
Bad thing.
She should not be free.
No.
No.
We just had a clip of Senator Kennedy, and now we have Senator Kennedy in baby form.
Madam Secretary, I'm going to say it again. You're a lot smarter than me. but my mama didn't raise a fool. And if she did, it was one of my brothers.
Oh my God. I love it. I just
Isn't that the greatest? I love him so much.
Kennedy as a baby.
Have you seen I think these are like from Thailand or somewhere where you can go and visit an orangutan, and then they've got this orangutan trained to like grab your boobs and like give you kisses. Have you seen those? So, so there's a video clip.
You would totally do this.
Oh my God, I would do this.
Absolutely go get sexually assaulted by an orangutan.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. She pays so much money for that, you guys.
I would pay all the money. I would pay all of it.
Right.
Well, now, so this is another one of those videos, but this one is special because someone has done a voiceover of the monkey.
Oh my God, I cannot.
It's so great because I totally feel like this is legit what the monkey is probably thinking.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
Come on, baby, let's go on, flick it up for the gram. I know how you like to do it. Put my hand on your knee like that. You know how to do it. Ooh, soft hands. Let me get some sugar. I love you, baby. You know I love you, girl. Let me get up here and make sure your hair's straight. I'm going to kick my leg up, do that one pose. Ooh, there you go, ball sack. Y'all know I'm just tripping with y'all. We on vacation. Let me lounge on you. I love you, girl. Y'all know how we do it. I'm just tripping with y'all. We out here. Let's do something. All right, let me see what I want to do now. You got them things out. Let me play on the Georgia, the jungle, fastest you can be. I'm just playing with you, girl. You know I love me some you, girl. Ooh, 21. Can you do something for me? 21.
That would so be you. You just be on the screen going, he's so cute. He's so cute. Oh my God. I can't.
It's just so great.
Just so you.
Yesterday, you had sent me that video of the wonderful woman who has started the We Don't Care Club.
We don't care.
We've got to follow up, and people were asking who she is, and so you can follow her on Just Being Melanie, Meloni, I think it is, or ANI, but it's Just Being Melanie is her name on Instagram. That's where you can find her and join the club. But here's round 2 of the things that we don't care about anymore. If you're a part of this club, you don't care about this stuff anymore.
We don't care.
So I started a group called the We Do Not Care Club for perimenopause and menopausal ladies. And when I tell you this club has taken off and we have so many members, I want to thank each and every member for joining. And I will be sharing what we do not care about pretty much on a daily basis. This is for normalcy. This is to understand that a lot of us out here are in the same boat and we're just trying to survive. So let's just go on and talk about what we don't care about today. Okay. We do not care about chin hair and unshaved legs. Baby has hair. It's going to grow. If we cut it, we cut it. If we don't, we don't. We don't care if you cold. Don't touch that AC.
Don't do it.
We don't care what's for dinner. If you hungry, go in there and figure something out.
Yeah.
We don't care if you're overweight. Listen, everybody can't have no size 2 stomach. That's that.
True.
We don't care about paying delivery fees. Please put it at my door. I don't want to talk to nobody. We don't care if you cancel. I'm so sorry that you had to cancel. We ain't want to go no way. We don't care if it's an emergency. Do not call my phone. Send a text.
Yes.
No one's answering.
We don't care if the car dirty. Rainy season will be here at some point.
It's true.
We don't care if we just woke up. We still sleepy. We need a nap.
So sleepy.
And lastly, we don't care if we forget what we talking about. Just start a new conversation. And if we remember what we was talking about, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
See y'all for the next one.
I just love her. I really do.
She's
I love
amazing.
Her.
Absolutely
She's
amazing.
my spirit animal.
All right, we got a couple of thank yous from Judy Flood over on Locals, who says, "Good morning, chicks." And Minnesota Solar Baby says, "So was Biden's doctor bought off, incompetent? Was it malpractice? Will they cite patient privacy? Will we ever know the truth?" Doubtful.
I don't know. Probably not. But you're not going to find the truth from the mainstream media. That is for sure. We know that.
No.
Or Jake Tapper.
Now you.
Okay. Douche Elias, the party of George Floyd, is upset. They're so sad.
Oh my gosh.
Felipe Mouve. Hello, chicks. I'm sorry to hear about his cancer, but we need to void the pardons he signed at the end of his presidency. I think we can all agree he likely wasn't fully aware of what he was signing.
Of course.
Maybe, I don't even think it wasn't just the end of his presidency. I think it was probably like 2-3 years, the end of his presidency, you know? Arnerm. I have the same disappointment you express in this administration. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have already sunk into the swamp, and Pam Bondi, in my opinion, is a lying liar who lies. They need 2 jerks to take my money. I would never get in that hot tub. I'd be afraid that there'd be bacteria in it. So I'd be like, I'm going to go ahead and just refrain.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
stuff
very
is
much.
incurable, infectious.
Not getting in it. Sandy Stokes, enjoying a cup of blackout coconut caramel mocha.
Ooh.
Oh, yummy. Also bought a bag of butterscotch toffee. Supporting the chicks 1 cup at a time. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you so much.
The butterscotch toffee. I got to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're bringing it in.
We're bringing in, you guys, warning.
She's not here.
I'm not here tomorrow. But Amy Jo is. She'll
here.
keep you entertained and posted on all the news along with Chad. And then
I'm
on
your Huckleberry.
Thursday, just know, because I'm getting my eyebrows done this afternoon, they're going to be really dark. Okay, so
She's
I'm
going to look
very
Puerto Rican. She's going to look Puerto Rican. Yeah. So when
Don't
she
be
gets
alarmed.
when she gets online on Thursday morning, everybody go. Everybody do that to her, okay? Because it's
For real.
She's gonna look that way. She's getting her eyebrows done, so don't be alarmed, okay? But I will be here tomorrow with Chad, keeping you guys informed of all the hot news. See you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.
Okay.